From the short runways to the planes that are meters above people's heads, these airports are unlike any you have seen before. Here are the 10 most dangerous airports in the world. 10. Wellington International Airport, New Zealand. Wellington International Airport, formerly known as Rongotai Airport, is an international airport located in the suburb of Rongotai in Wellington. It lies 3 nm or 5.5 kilometers southeast from the city centre, serving the capital of New Zealand. Wellington International Airport is the third busiest airport in the country, after Auckland and Christchurch. It features a single 2,081 m, 6,827 feet, runway that appears to start and end in the ocean. The length of the runway has limited the size of aircraft that can use the airport on a commercial basis, and non-stop overseas destinations are limited to the east coast of Australia and the South Pacific. The airport has a reputation for sometimes rough and turbulent landings, even in larger aircraft, due to the channeling effect of Cook Strait creating strong and gusty winds, especially in northwesterly conditions. This makes it extremely difficult for pilots to maneuver landings, and can sometimes turn flying into a hair-raising experience for passengers. 9. Princess Juliana Airport, St. Martin. One of the largest transportation hubs in the Caribbean region. It is one of the 10 most dangerous airports in the world. Located on the island of St. Martin. The airport is named after Juliana, who visited here as Crown Princess in 1944, the year after the airport opened. The notorious Princess Juliana Airport on the Caribbean island of St. Martin is famous around the world for its low landings over the ocean, owing to one end of its single 7,546 feet, 2,300 meters, long runway being extremely close to the shore. The proximity of Maho Beach to the runway has made the airport one of the world's most favorite places for a perfect Instagram shot, as the landing jets appear to be just feet above the heads of the public just before touchdown, while takeoff creates huge gusts of wind and sand for sunbathers. 8. Gibraltar International Airport, British Overseas Territory. This airport has its runway crossing the main road and out of the British Overseas Territory, and consequently traffic has to be closed every time a plane lands or departs. However, the highway crossing isn't the main issue for pilots. It's the strong turbulence and wind shear around the Rock of Gibraltar and across the Bay of Algeciras that makes landings here a challenging affair and particularly uncomfortable. Diversions and go-arounds are common, especially in winter. The resultant traffic jams have led to the construction of a tunnel under the runway, but the project has been plagued by delays and is still not complete. 7. NARSARQUAG Airport, Greenland. The airport is located in NARSARQUAG, a settlement in the municipality of Quilek in southern Greenland. Along with Kangerlussuaq Airport, it is one of only 2 airports in Greenland capable of handling large airliners. It is also the only international airport in southern Greenland. Pilots must deal with strong winds, severe turbulence, and wind shear in a mountainous landscape, even on the calmest days of the year, before they get sight of the relatively short 6,000 feet, 1,823 meters, runway. While the high wind in the fjords is a major challenge for pilots, a nearby volcano can be even more of a headache. When it erupts, its volcanic ash cloud contains very small particles of glass, silica, from melting ice, that can damage aircraft engines. The weather is also often stormy, creating intense turbulence and low visibility on approach, making it very uncomfortable for both flight crew and passengers. Wind shears affect planes which, coupled with the icy runway, can direct them off their course. 6. Toncontin Airport, Honduras. This airport is built in a valley. As you may have noticed, airports located in the mountains are very hard to land on, due to their varying terrain and often short approaches. Toncontin Airport is no different. The mountainous terrain surrounding the small airport forces pilots to make a dramatic approach that's anything but head-on, with a steep descent and a sharp turn prior to lining up with the runway. In order for planes to prepare for the descent, they must make a rapid 45-degree bank turn to reach the runway in a valley. In 1989, a Boeing commercial plane crashed into a mountainside on approach. At least 5 more planes have since followed suit and crashed in or around the airport. Research shows it was because of the awkward turn. A new airport is currently being constructed in Comayagua to replace Toncontin International Airport. Landing at Madeira Airport in Portugal is a white-knuckle ride. Madeira Airport is one of the few in the world where engineers built a platform in order to expand the runway. The landing strip sits between steep cliffs and the shores of the ocean. The original runway was only 1,600 m long, but was extended to 2,781 m after a fatal plane crash in 1977. 164 people died when a Boeing 727 fell off the end of the runway onto the beach below. To expand the runway, engineers built a series of platforms on an artificial island. The runway is held up by more than 180 columns, which have to withstand the shock of landings. Only a limited amount of pilots are qualified to land on this airport. Pilots must navigate their approach by spotting landmarks and cannot land by instrument alone. To make it more difficult, there are strong winds, high mountains on one side and the ocean on the other. 4. TENZING-HILLARY Airport, Nepal. TENZING-HILLARY Airport, also known as Lukla Airport, in Nepal is the prime airport for anyone who is visiting Mt Everest. Part of what makes this airport so difficult to land on is the way it is nestled in between mountains, and the incredibly short length of the runway. In fact, the airport is quite small. The airport sometimes loses electric power, cutting off communication with the controllers. This makes landings risky even in perfect conditions. The airport is positioned 9,325 feet, 2.84 kilometers, high and is built on the side of a mountain. The runway is one direction only and is just 1,600 feet, 488 meters, long, with serious slopes and angles. Since 1973, there have been several accidents on the airport that resulted in many deaths and injuries. Given these factors, only helicopters and small fixed-wing propeller planes are permitted to land. 3. Courchevel Airport, France. Courchevel International Airport has one of the world's shortest runways. Video of a landing at the Courchevel Airport went viral a few years ago, as it is one of the shortest runways of any airport in the world, at 1,722 feet, 525 meters. Not only this, but the paved runway has a downward slope of 18.5%, which makes taking off even more difficult. Moreover, on approach or during takeoff, pilots have to maneuver their aircraft between the Alps without instrument procedures. The only clear guideline is a no-go-round due to the surrounding mountains. Only specially certified pilots are allowed to land here. The airport is not equipped with lights or instrumentation aids, so in bad weather landing is impossible. 2. Hwansho-e Uroskan Airport, Saba Island. Hwansho-e Uroskan Airport, otherwise known as Saba Airport, is one of the world's scariest airports. Located on the Dutch Caribbean island of Saba, it lies about 27 miles, 45 kilometers, south of St. Martin. With a runway of only 400 meters, 1,300 feet, in total length, this makes it the world's shortest commercial airport runway. The runways keep getting shorter, don't they? But its short runway is not the only hazard would-be approaching pilots need to be aware of. The airport is surrounded by jagged terrain and a sharp left bank immediately before landing. The airport is wedged on a rocky outcrop at the foot of a mountain, with jagged terrain on one side and cliffs dropping into the sea at the other ends of the runway, so any landing here is a nerve-wracking challenge. 1. PARO International Airport, Bhutan. PARO is Bhutan's sole international airport. The tiny airport is nestled in a deep valley and surrounded by sharp peaks of up to 5,500 meters, 18,000 feet, tall. Tucked away in the Himalayas, PARO Airport is famous for being one of the world's most difficult to land at. In fact, only a handful of pilots are qualified to do so. Strong winds whip through the valley, often resulting in severe turbulence. Considered the most dangerous airport in the world, flights are only allowed during daytime and under visual meteorological conditions in which pilots make their judgments by eye rather than relying on aircraft instruments. Most difficult part is that pilots cannot see the runway at all until the last minute, as they must maneuver between mountains at a 45-degree angle before finally dropping quickly onto the runway. At one point during the approach, planes must come extremely close to mountaintop homes, and one red cliffside home even serves as a key marker for pilots.